A hand touched my back. It was Rena.
Kichkin, you shouldn't pick on adults. It's not nice.
The background clamor of the festival returned.
We won't be seeing him for a while after all. We need to make sure Tomitake-san also enjoys tonight.
When Rena smiled, the mood instantly got brighter. That's true. I think I'll do just that.
Hey, Mi-chan. How about it? Can we let Tomitake-san in on our club activities?
That's a great idea. Or so I thought, but Mian had a snobbish look on her face.
One of the requirements for membership is residence in Hinamizuwa, you see. Come on, Mi-chan. Just for today, don't be mean.
Well, he does come around often every year.
I'll make him an honorary citizen. Whoa, yay!
Now then, I wonder if this aged fellow, well past his prime, will be a match for me.
Let's have him show us the wisdom of a mature adult.
Can't you keep up with us youngins? Tomitake-san stepped back slightly at our audacious grins. I, Mian Sonozaki, club president, do hereby authorize honorary citizen Tomitake's entry into our club. Her words were quickly drawn out by our cheers. What do you mean by club?
What our club does, you see, in order to cope with our complicated society, we perform various activities with various rules. Sometimes they are in your favor.
And after yawning, I will explain the rest of it.
And sometimes they work against you. I'm pretty weak, so I'd prefer you not single me out. Let's try to get along. If you wish to mock our childish games, then this will be the perfect opportunity.
We'll leave you with nothing. We won't even leave the hairs on your butt.
So it's a club where we play games together.
Of course, Rika-chan was the only one to give an answer that made sense. Alright, just what I wanted. I'll take you up on that challenge. Don't be too rough on me, my mentors. Tomitake-san got riled up and did a victory pose, like he was 10 years younger. That's perfect. We continued walking through the festival with Mian in the front. Now we looked like a family of 6. It had some intensity to it. Same rules as always. The loser will, of course, be subject to a penalty. Tomitake-san was a bit surprised, but to us it was just the same as always. Regardless of how terrible the penalty it was.
Just don't lose.
Rena was also brimming with determination. She didn't have any intentions of losing. That's true. I tousled Rena's hair to lighten the mood. She giggled to hide her embarrassment. I see. This is what it means to feel like a kid again. Tomitake-san whispered that to nobody in particular. At that moment, we heard an old man call out in a strong voice. Looking over, I realized it was the man Mian had greeted right before the festival. You're here. Little Miss Sonozaki, seems you brought quite the crowd. We came to eradicate your entire stall. His stall was a shooting gallery. Look at that shooting gallery. I never actually played one of those. It was the usual setup where you had to knock down the prize you wanted with a cork gun. The rules are simple. 3 shots, the winner is whoever gets the biggest prize. Everybody shouted their agreement. There was no need to consider how to win, since the conditions for victory was simply size. The biggest prize at the stall? It went without question. It was that one, wasn't it?
Whoa, that teddy bear. Cute!
Rena was gazing longingly at a large stuffed animal. It was intentionally placed on an unsteady platform, so it was possible to get it if you hit the right spot. It's magnificently set up to make someone think that.
Not bad, Keich-san. I figured you would see through the scam instantly.
The most logical action, of course, would be to aim for some candy or a doll. The intense analysis had already begun. In this club, you'll get eaten alive if you don't come prepared. Everything hinges on what you plan to come up with before the main event. At some point, a large crowd had gathered around us, making a big fuss. There was this much of a following for our club's infamous event?
Knocking that bear down is sure as a win.
Only 3 shots. To use them all just trying? That'd be rough.
Hey!
I have other customers waiting, you know. Who's up first? The first one has the advantage of being able to aim for the easier prizes, but it's dangerous to compete without knowing the gun's quirks. Tomitaki-san's take on the situation was pretty good. He gets what our club is about.
Well then, to be fair, how about using rock, paper, scissors to decide?
Oh god. People messaging me. Oh, brilliant. Okay. Rock, paper, scissors? Okay. That's really the only way. Rock, paper, scissors. After a couple of matches, it ended up with me being first. I didn't want to end up first. Oh well. I'll just think of it as a handicap. Grabs! Gun! Here you go. When the shooting range guy handed her a rifle, Mia looked it over intently. She didn't forget to check the cork bullet either. Okay. This gun is brand new, isn't it? No faults. Not bad. Mia raised the gun in one swift motion. It was completely different from her careful inspection. She was shooting from the hip. Fire. Reload. Fire. Reload. Fire. Flop. Flop, flop. 3 candy boxes fell one after the other. A big haul. The crowd paused in a moment of awe and then erupted in cheers. Whoa! Awesome!
That was quite good.
Tomitaki-san was at a loss for words after seeing such shooting prowess.
Amazing, Mi-chan. 3.
Her accuracy was incredible. Her choice of targets wasn't bad either. The 3 Mian had gone after were fairly large and pretty easy to knock over. They were all targets with very high return on investment. Who's up next? Satoko? Careful, the bullets are light. Next was Satoko. The rifle looked a bit big for her little body, but it didn't seem like she had any problem with the weight.
Of course. I shall aim for the grand prize.
She proclaimed that she was going after the teddy bear. Damn, Satoko's such a bold move.
The moment she knocks it over, she's guaranteed to be in first.
Good luck, Satoko-chan. Satoko was the opposite of Mia. She aimed at the target quite carefully and squeezed the trigger.
These bullets are too light.
The first 2 bullets struck the bear in the torso, but it only shifted a bit. You need to aim higher towards the head, or it won't work. Satoko's 3rd bullet wasn't aimed at the bear, but at the candy box below its arm.
I hate to say it, but it appears the bear is just too much for me.
She went boldly after the big catch, but since she switched over to less impressive prey at the last second, the crowd only gave a strained laugh. Were they laughing because she lacked the courage? These fools know nothing. A fine attempt, Satoko. You've gotten better. The palm of Mion's outstretched hand went poof as it tapped lightly on Satoko. She appeared to just be talking on air, but this was actually completely calculated. Damn the Satoko, just to avoid being in last place. She dared to switch over to an easy target. Without shame or honor. Magnificent.
I'll allow you to take the bear, Rena-san. I pray for your victory. Okay. Thanks so much, Satoko-chan. Oh, bear-san, so cute.
Ah, my voice. It didn't really bring anything, but it was just... It went somewhere. It went to heaven and then returned slightly after. She didn't hit the bright side of a barn as regular Rena, but she said that bear was cute. I wonder how Rena-chan will do. I hope she's able to hit at least one. You're underestimating Rena, Tomoaki-san. It's Rena, you know? It's Rena Ryugu, you know? If it was to get that teddy bear... Whoa! Tomoaki-san wheeled around to see what all the commotion the spectators were making was about. If it was to get that bear, she'd be able to shoot through a pinhole. The one known as Rena Ryugu could do it.
It's shaking. How cute.
Rena couldn't hide her excitement over the bear's slow rocking. Now Rena couldn't lose.
Not bad, Rena-san. The less collected you become,
The stronger you get. Oh god. Another big cheer. Rena's bullet hit the bear's forehead again. Not enough. The bear seemed to wobble more than before, though.
but it might not be possible.
You never know. With Rena-chan's skill, it might be. While Tomoaki-san was just as excited as the crowd, Rika-chan's analysis was not swayed by emotion. If Rena had 10 more shots, then she could surely knock it over. But it was just one more. No matter how you looked at it, no go. Ow! What happened? She had shot it right in the forehead 3 times. It was a bit late, but they gave her a good round of applause for the attempt. Oh, okay.
Oh, very sad. Take him home. Oh.
She should be praised for her valor, but she had no trophies to show for it. Then, in that moment, the old man flicked one of the candy boxes with his finger and handed it to Rena. This is for you, little lady.
Huh? You're giving this to me? How?
The gods wouldn't forgive me if I let you go home empty-handed after such a display. There was another shower of applause. Rena turned bright red and I pulled her back over to us by her hand. You did a good job. Your Kyumo really surprised me.
Oh, I really wanted Mr. Bear.
It was easy to see that it only needed a little more to be knocked over. Rena had done quite a lot for me. I still needed to pay her back for that delicious picnic. Alright, then I'll get it and give it to you. What? Tomoaki-san had stolen the words right out of my mouth.
okay? Please, Tomodachi-san. Good luck.
Sim, you old man Tomodachi! Stealing the good parts for yourself. A small hand stretched over and fell gently on my head just before I was overcome with frustration.
You keep on fighting too, Keiichi, okay?
Yes, Rika. Tomodachi-san carefully studied the bear, setting his sights, he shouldered the rifle while holding the other 2 shots in his hand. Why is he doing that? Yes, no doubt. Tomodachi-san is aiming for... Time between shots was short. It was meaningless to shoot again once it stopped shaking. So Tomodachi-san was relying on rapid fire to win the battle. It was visibly wobbling much more than it ever had before. But that was all. It still didn't fall over.
Oh, too bad.
All of Rena's momentary expectation from watching it swayed violently turned into a dejected sigh. I really thought it would work.
It seems that since you're a man, you will not be receiving any candy.
That was it. It meant Tomodachi-san had no spoils of war. So both Kei-chan and Rika-chan can just shoot down a small easy prize and avoid being dead last. Avoid being the loser, huh? Oh, sorry about that. It's your turn next, Keiichi-kun. Best of luck. I was the 5th shooter. I took the rifle from Tomodachi-san. If I took the ruthless route, as Mia has suggested, then I'd go for a small target. Except, when I picked up the rifle, I definitely got a feeling from it. It was burning passion. There we go, Keiichi! Passed down to me by Tomodachi-san. The regret of not being man enough to fell the bear was that Rena wanted? Yes, that's right. If I didn't aim for the bear, then I wouldn't be a man. After all, that was my promise to Rena.
Huh? What promise? What?
To shoot down the bear. Then give it to Rena. That one.
You mean how?
The crowd went wild when they saw our conversation. Cool, Oni-chan! Oh my god. You got balls, man! That's not it. Fine, men of the crowd. If I didn't do this, then Rena might mug the old man running the stall on his way home. It's true, though. No, that's not it. That's not it at all. Why can't I just express my honest feelings?
Keiichi-san surely talks the talk, but how do you actually intend to bring down the bear? Rena and Tomodachi-san's shots did make it tilt a bit, but I think finishing the job will be difficult. Keiichi-kun.
If only there was some way to shoot faster. I'd be able to pile more power on the sway from each hit. Good luck, Keiichi-kun! Ugh. After taking 2 deep breaths, I shouted over to the guy. 2 more rifles. Huh? The crowd murmured amongst themselves.
I wonder what Keiichi-san is up to. One person can't handle 3 rifles at once.
I get it. Nice thinking, Kei-chan. Mian was able to figure it out magnificently. Basically, what was taking the most time was reloading the shot.
That's right. Then by putting 3 preloaded rifles next to each other...
Tomodachi-san went silent, peering at me and the bear through his lens. His photographer's blood predicted a miracle would occur. And then the crowd finally picked up on what I was planning. They let out a great cheer. They chanted my name, Keiichi! Rapid fire is the key. If I miss, all is for naught. After letting out a deep breath, I paused. Relax. Now! That moment, I felt like time itself had stopped. I felt like I could see the trajectory of the bullets. Hit it, and knock it down. The first shot hit the bear on its head. The second. The third. The bear swayed hard. And then... He did it! He did it! The cheers began before the stuffed animal even finished falling off the shelf. He did it! He knocked it down, Keiichi! The guy caught it before it hit the ground and tossed it over to me. You actually knocked it over. You got me. Amazing. Congratulations, Keiichi-kun.
Keiichi-san has finally learned how to use his head. I see you're in a slightly better light now.
I didn't do it all by myself. Everyone hit it, and those small bits together brought it down. This trophy belongs to all of us.
Right, this is from all of us working together. Me didn't hit it a single time.
After holding up the teddy bear like it was a championship trophy, I handed it to Rena. Here. This is from me. No, from everyone. Thanks for always making your delicious lunches. Rena, thinking she was never actually going to get it, was momentarily speechless.
I can't, Keiichi-kun. This is everyone's after all. Oh.
In that case, I was the one who knocked it down. And it's mine. It's mine, so... So, I'm giving it to Rena. I pushed the stuffed animal towards her again. This time, she embraced and accepted it. You've watched out for me ever since I moved here, after all. I'm really grateful, you see. Thanks a lot.
Oh, Keiichi-kun. Thanks so much.
Rena dove at me. Mian told me a few days later that Rena kissed me. Wait, what? Mian told me a few days later that Rena kissed me, but I didn't realize it during the excitement at the time. Oh! I remembered what I was trying to say to Tomitaka-san earlier. There really isn't much of anything here. But there are lots of things you can't find anywhere else. I gained a lot from coming to Hinamizawa. Especially at that moment. The crowd's cheers echoed on and on. From the altar set up in front of the shrine, the drum sounded with a booming echo. It was the finale of the festival.
I'll be going off ahead then.
Uh-oh. I need to go and get myself a good spot, too. Well, then everyone, see you in a bit. Both Rika-chan and Tomitaka-san gave their farewells and disappeared into the crowd.
I wish both of you the best in your endeavors. Now, shall we be off?
Yeah, might as well go see Rika-chan's charming figure. Let's go. Yeah. Where's Rena? What are you doing?
Keiichi-kun! Mi-chan! Save me!
So she was carrying such a ridiculously large stuffed animal. She was being carried by the flow of the people. What is she doing? She must have her hands full of taking care of that bear.
So I'll leave Rena in your care, Kei-chan. I have my hands full taking care of Satoko. You would want to be looked after by you, Mion-san.
Ouch! Ugh.
Ouch, please don't pull on my arm.
Before losing sight of me, I grabbed the back of Rena's collar.
Keiichi-kun, not there. Don't grab me there.
Always so bossy. Where can I grab then?
How?
Rena! I didn't feel ashamed at all. Rena was ashamed enough for the both of us. Yeah. I grabbed onto Rena's hand and dashed after Mion and the others. We're gonna be late. Let's hurry up.
Yeah.
I didn't realize Rena's hand was so delicate. Maybe she needed a bit more exercise than nutrition? That's what I meant. Not at all. My ears burned. I tried to keep calm. I repeated the phrase, "Keep it together, Keiichi," in my mind, but it didn't look like it would be able to. I'd be able to anytime soon. I really didn't want Rena to see my face right then, so I pushed onwards, dragging her along without looking back even once. There was already a huge group of people gathered at the altar in front of the shrine. The fire at the altar made it as bright as midday and just as hot. There was a pile of futons warded with sanctified rope in front of the altar. Come to think of it, they did say it was a festival where they did something with the cotton and futons.
Keiichi-san! Rena-san! We're over here!
Satoko waved her hand from the front row. Sorry. Making our way through the mass of people, we reached the spot they'd save.
How was it? Were you able to have a little bit of excitement with Rena?
You punk! So that's what your plan was! Instead of replying, Mina gave us a preserved grin. How was it, Rena? Was Kei-chan's hand bigger than you thought it would be? Rena turned bright red, puffs of steam shooting out of her. I heard something silent slice through the air and turned around to see Mian on the ground with a welt on her face. Yeah. Mian, when were you hit? Between the ha and o of her how, I think. Rena, it's not good to punch your friends to hide your embarrassment.
I didn't hit her. Whatever. How?
The thunderous beat of the drum echoed, silencing the crowd.
You must all be quiet. It's beginning.
It was a solemn ritual. Rika-chan entered dressed in a shrine as a shrine maiden, followed by members of the municipal committee. The elders all looked at Rika-chan and clasped their hands in praise. The only thing allowed to disturb the profound silence was a flash from Tomitaki-san's camera. What's the big thing Rika-chan is holding?
A hoe that's used for this festival. It's a sacred farming tool that only the shrine maiden may touch.
It was an awkward shape for a piece of farm equipment, not uncommon for something used in ritual. After reciting a Shinto prayer, Rika-chan approached the pile of futons gathered at the altar. She swung the hoe skillfully, plowing it into the futons. Each and every little movement of this performance probably had to be done in a certain way. Without a doubt, this was a ritual. What's next? Airing out futons?
She's purifying futons that absorbed illness from people over the winter. So when Kei-chan said airing out futons, he wasn't completely wrong.
Rika-chan's face was already dripping with sweat. The hoe was probably really heavy. She staggered side to side with the momentum of each swing. Satoko looked on, silently lending her support. Worried?
Rika practiced every single day with a mochi hammer. She will certainly prevail.
Satoko's hands were sweaty, and whenever Rika-chan started to sway a little, she held her breath. Why wasn't Mion a candidate to be the Shrine Maiden? It feels wrong having Rika-chan swing around something so heavy. I'd do it if they asked me, you know. And well, it's not something just anyone could do. That's true. Shrine Maidens need to be pure after all. Mia drove her elbow into my side. With the thud of the big drum, Rika-chan gave a solemn bow and descended from the altar. That triggered a round of generous applause. After the Shinto priestess had raised up the cleansed futons like a portable altar, all the spectators stood up. Following after the priests, we all marched on at a moderate pace. They descended the shrine's giant stairs in a line. What's happening now? Washing the futons in the river?
Watamagashi means setting cotton adrift, you know.
The processions continued right up to the banks of the stream. A fire was stoked high, and it was bright as day here too. People started crowding around it and clamoring.
Alright, get in line. Line up, Kichikun.
I wonder what was up. Maybe we'd get some holy wine? Red and white bean buns?
It's not food. I said it was cotton.
But of course, they didn't call it the Watanagashi for nothing. I finally understood. The municipal committee members pulled out the cotton from inside the futon and balled it up like mochi, handing it out to people. Rena dove into the line and brought out some for me as well. We then proceeded to the bank of the stream.
Since it's your first time, Kichikun, just copy what I do.
She held the cotton in her right hand, and waving her hand as if to purify it, she touched it to her forehead, chest, navel, and both thighs.
You do this 3 times, and silently give thanks to Oyashiro-sama.
Oyashiro-sama? What's that? The name of the shrine's god?
Yes, it's the guardian deity of Hinamizawa. It brings about both miracles and curses. So you must be sure to show respect.
That sounded like a pretty frightening god. But, well, when in Rome. I was officially a resident of Hinamizawa now, after all. Doing as Rena showed me, I touched the cotton over myself 3 times. Thank you, Oyashiro-sama. Thank you, Oyashiro-sama. Oyashiro-sama.
This way, all the evil that possesses you is sucked out by the cotton. Then you let it gently drift away on the stream and you're done.
Together, Rena and I set our pieces of cotton afloat on the surface of the water. The flowers of cotton blooming in the water had sucked out all the evil festering in Hinamizawa and drifted off, disappearing into the distance. It was wonderful, like those floating lantern festivals I'd seen on TV. The best part, though, was feeling like this rite of passage had made me a true resident of Hinamizawa.